Nog waved to and fro, and then Rikki Tikki heard him drinking from the water jar that was used to fill a bath. "That is good," said the snake. "Now, when Crate was killed, the big man had a stick. He may still have that stick, but when he comes to bathe in the morning, he surely will not have a stick. I shall wait here until he comes. Nagaina, do you hear me? I shall wait here where it's cool till daytime." There was no answer from outside, so Rikki Tikki knew Nagaina had gone away. Nog coiled himself down, coil by coil, and wrapped himself around the bottom of the water jar. Rikki Tikki stayed as still as death. After an hour, he began to move, muscle by muscle, toward the jar. Nog was asleep, and Rikki Tikki looked at his big back, wondering which would be the best place to attack and grab hold. "If I don't break his back at the first jump," said Rikki, "he can still fight, and if he fights, oh, Rikki!" He looked at the thickness of the snake's neck below the hood, but that was too much for him, and a bite near the tail would only make Nog savage. "I must go for the head," he said at last. "The head above the hood, and once I am there, I must not let go." Then he jumped at the snake. Nog's head was lying just clear of the water jar, and as his teeth met, Rikki braced his back against the jar to hold down the head. This gave him 1 extra second, and he made the most of it. Then he was battered to and fro as the snake fought his grip, back and forth on the floor, up and down and around in great circles. But his eyes were red, and he held on as his body was whipped over the floor and banged against the side of the bathtub. He held on and closed his jaws tighter and tighter. He was sure he would be banged to death, and for the honor of his family, he preferred to be found with his teeth locked. He was dizzy and aching and felt shaken to pieces when something went off like a thunderclap just behind him. A hot wind knocked him senseless, and red fire singed his fur. The big man had been wakened by the noise and had fired both barrels of his shotgun into Nog, just behind the hood. Rikki Tikki held on tight with his eyes shut, for now he was quite sure he was dead. The snake's head did not move, and the big man picked him up and said, "It's the mongoose again, Alice. The little chap has saved our lives now." Teddy's mother came in with a very white face and saw what was left of Nog. Rikki Tikki dragged himself to Teddy's bathroom and spent half the night shaking himself tenderly to find out whether he really was broken into 40 pieces, as he imagined. When morning came, he was very stiff, but well pleased with what he had done. "Now I have Nagaina to sell with, and she will be worse than 5 Nogs. And there's no way of knowing when the eggs she spoke of will hatch. Goodness, I must go and see Darzee," he said. Without waiting for breakfast, Rikki Tikki ran to the thorn bush, where Darzee was singing a song of triumph at the top of his voice. The news of Nog's death was already all over the garden because the body had been thrown in the rubbish heap. "Oh, you stupid tuft of feathers," said Rikki Tikki angrily. "Is this a time to sing?" "Nog is dead, is dead, is dead, woo, woo," said Darzee. "The valiant Rikki Tikki caught him by the head and held fast. The big man brought the bang stick and Nog fell into pieces. He will never eat my babies again, woo, woo." "All that's true enough, but where's Nagaina?" said Rikki Tikki, looking carefully around him. "Nagaina came to the bathroom drain and called for Nog," Darzee went on, "and Nog came out on the end of a stick, thrown out on the rubbish heap. Let us sing about the great big-eyed Rikki Tikki Tavi, woo." And Darzee filled his throat and sang. "If I could get up to your nest, I'd throw your babies out," said Rikki Tikki. "You don't know when to do the right thing at the right time. You're safe enough in your nest there, but it's war for me down here. Stop singing for a minute, Darzee." For the great, beautiful Rikki Tikki Tavi's sake, I will stop, said Darzy. What is it, O killer of the terrible Nog? Again I ask, where is Naga-Ina? On the rubbish heap by the stables, morning for Nog, great is Rikki Tikki with white teeth, woo! Forget my white teeth! Have you heard where she keeps her eggs? In the melon bed, on the end nearest the wall, where the sun shines nearly all day. She hid them there weeks ago. And you never thought it worthwhile to tell me? The end nearest the wall, you said. Rikki Tikki, you're not going to eat her eggs. Not eat exactly, Darzy, no. If you have a grain of sense, you will fly off to the stables and pretend that your wing is broken, and let Naga-Ina chase you away to this bush. I must go to the melon bed. If I went there now, she'd see me. Darzy was a feather-brained little fellow who could never keep more than one idea in his head at a time. I'm feeling that right about now. Just because he knew that Naga-Ina's children were born in eggs, like his own, he didn't think at first that was fair to kill them. But his wife was a sensible bird, and she knew that cobra's eggs meant young cobras later on. So she flew off from the nest and left Darzy to keep the babies warm and continue singing his song about the death of Nog. She fluttered in front of Naga-Ina by the rubbish heap and cried out, "Oh, my wing is broken! The boy in the house threw a stone at me and broke it!" Then she fluttered more desperately than ever. Naga-Ina lifted up her head and hissed, "You warned Rikki Tikki when I would have killed him. Indeed and truly, you've chosen a bad place to come with a broken wing." And she moved toward Darzy's wife, sliding along the dust. "The boy broke it with a stone," shrieked Darzy's wife. "Well, it may be some consolation to you to know that when you're dead I shall settle accounts with the boy. My husband lies on the rubbish heap this morning, and before nightfall the boy too will be still. What is the use of running away? I am sure to catch you. Little fool, look at me!" Darzy's wife knew better than to do that, for a bird who looks in the snake's eyes gets so frightened that she cannot move. Darzy's wife flared on, piping sharply and never leaving the ground, and Naga-Ina quickened her pace. Rikki Tikki heard them going up the path from the stables, and he raced to the end of the melon bed near the wall. There, very cunningly hidden, he found 25 eggs, about the size of a small bird's eggs, but with whitish skins instead of shells. It was not a day too soon, he said, for he could see the baby cobras curled up inside the skin, and he knew that the minute they were hatched, they could each kill a man or a mongoose. He bit off the tops of the eggs as fast as he could, taking care to crush the young cobras, and turned over the litter from time to time to see whether he had missed any. At last, there were only 3 eggs left, and Rikki Tikki began to chuckle to himself when he heard Darzy's wife screaming, "Rikki Tikki, I led Naga-Ina towards the house, and she has gone to the veranda, and oh, come quickly, she means killing!"